All right, a few more magazines here to check out. I love going through these old books and some newer ones as well for inspiration and just sort of seeing how they used to look and compared to how things are today, I suppose. But this one, the Hall of Fandom, was an advertisement for Bud Light that came out in a Vice magazine years ago, and I just love the portraits. They always really stood out to me. Each and every page is creative and colorful and tells a story about fans from different teams in the NFL, and it's really cool. Each picture is really dope, and I held on to this book even though it's an advertisement. Most people chuck that shit away. I kept it because I like it. I'm gonna use it for reference, and I look at pictures like, people read books or stuff like that, but sometimes I revisit just because I liked it. Very cool pictures. The whole book is full of cool pictures. Free too. How can you beat that? Free. It was free in a free magazine, and all these years later, I have to say this is probably 20 years old, maybe longer. Next one here, Source magazine. I had damn near every Source magazine. At one point, I couldn't store all my Source magazines. I had to chuck them out. I held on to the ones I liked the most. But Source magazine was the Bible. I literally couldn't wait to pick up Source magazine, go through it front to back. It shrunk in size over the years. Look at that, Eve. Remember Eve? She was dope, but it used to be super thick. Anyway, I really like this. Was a really interesting article of talking about the end of the internet, but basically the author is just talking about how high-speed internet is going to disrupt the internet. Can you imagine? We're on the verge of AI taking over here. Anyway, so this Stephen McBride is a classic photographer. I love this photo of Black Dot. I love both of these photos of Black Dot. Stephen McBride took a lot of amazing photos of hip hop artists back in the day. Jerome Albertini here, a cool photo of Mos Def. I love the negative space use here. The graphic design, very well done. He took a lot of beautiful photographs. Another one, here, look at young 50 Cent right there. But the next photo here I really love as well, Jonathan Mannion, who I'm going to do a whole section on, is took amazing photos. I love this dude here looking back like, why is that guy underground? Very, very great photo by Jonathan Mannion. And the next photos here, you don't see a lot of print photos by Nitin Vadukul, but his work is real stunning. And this is the best way to engage with these type of photos, seeing them in this format. So shout out to Source magazine, always put out some good content. Esses magazine, I'm not a big fan of Grand Prix, but I love cars and I love design and I love photography. So Esses magazine just hits it all in one place. This is easily the most beautiful book I've seen in years. It's amazing. I can't recommend a more beautiful magazine. It comes out 4 times a year. You can buy it one-off or you can subscribe. It's amazing. This story here is about this concierge who had to find an elephant for one of the guests at the Grand Prix. And every story in this book's real cool. I really enjoyed it. I have a subscription. I look forward to the next many issues. Darren Heath is a photographer I highly recommend you check out. If you love photography, you gotta pause right now, go check out Darren Heath's work. It is mind-boggling how this dude makes these photographs happen. It's almost like he was thinking about it and somehow just manifests those images on the page. His work defies what I know about photography. Now, I know that's saying a lot, but you got to go check out Darren Heath's work. It's unbelievable. And if you get a chance, subscribe to Esses magazine. It's not just about Grand Prix. It's Grand Prix culture. It's car culture, but it's art culture as well. It's a magazine I would highly recommend. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. Juxtapoz magazine. I always used to pick it up. I thought it always had good work. Jane Alexander is the artist here featured on the cover. I would highly recommend checking out Jane Alexander's work. It is striking. See a little bit more of that later. They always had a lot of ads. Juxtapoz was not a free magazine. You had to pay for it. And they still put out work. They still have a website right now. You can check out lots of new modern artists. Look at this. There was a Punch cutout. Can you imagine how much Scion must have paid for that ad right there? That's kind of a cool way to advertise. You don't really see stuff like that anymore in magazines at all because you don't really see magazines. People don't put magazines out. But when you did, that kind of stuff resonated. They were really trying to make a difference. Cool photo by Estevan Oriel, West Coast photographer, LA classic. Just thought it was a nice shot to highlight. He's an amazing photographer who was featured in this magazine quite a bit. But this magazine was another entry point to the public for a lot of art that wouldn't otherwise have been seen, and I really appreciate these magazines for putting this sort of work out. But Jane Alexander's work is just striking. You got to spend some time and check it out. If you take anything away from this, go look at Darren Heath's work and Jane Alexander's work. This is the kind of stuff she photographed it and made the sculpture and set the scenes up. It's really beautiful. No, I just want to let those last few pages shine there. But thanks for checking me out. Peace.